Shabbat Shalom. How do you deal with uncertainty? When you're waiting for the results of a medical exam, or your grade on an academic exam, or the outcome of a job interview, or confirmation that a loved one's plane has landed safely, or even if you are waiting for a phone call after a first date, when we are in that moment of limbo, when things can go either way, it can be excruciating. So many of us allow ourselves to assume the worst. And by the time we get the call, we may find ourselves tied up in knots of worry. We could just as easily focus on the best case scenario. So why do we choose to assume the worst? Do we assume the worst in the hopes that we will be less hurt by bad news if it comes? Or do we do this to try to feel a sense of control? And when we lean into the worst case scenarios as a kind of self-protective mechanism, we rob ourselves of the potential of well-being or even joy. We imprison ourselves in a kind of negative worldview that makes us contract into balls of anxiety and despair. And yet it's so hard to be optimistic when life is riddled with personal and communal trauma, from illness to natural disasters to personal tragedies. We know the world can be very bleak. Our people's history contains harrowing and horrifying narratives. And yet, we have always been a people of hope. We have always found what to be grateful for. We are Jews, Yehudim, from the Hebrew root that means to be grateful. Gratitude is a part of our name. It is an aspect of our essential identity. But it's not easy to trust in a world where there is so much despair and so much chaos. We don't want to get our hopes up only to face bitter disappointment. And frankly, we often don't really know if the path that we are on is one that we should trust or actively resist. Bitachon is the word for trust in Hebrew, and it means security. But who feels secure in this world? In our Torah portion this week, our patriarch Jacob is running away from home. His own mother pushed him into deceiving his father by tricking his brother Esau into giving up both his birthright and their father's blessing. Jacob flees from Esau's wrath, taking the long journey from Beersheba to Haran. And along the way, we hear of an episode in which Jacob lies down to sleep in the desert, a stone for his pillow, and just the cold ground for his bed. He is adrift, alone, not sure of what is next, with no supportive family to run back to. He has many reasons to mistrust in an unpredictable world. Yet at this moment, he has a dream in which angels climb up and down a ladder from the earth to the heavens. And in the dream, God blesses Jacob, saying, "The ground which you are lying on, I will assign to you and to your offspring. Your descendants shall be as the dust of the earth. You shall spread out to the west and the east and the north and the south. All the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you and your descendants." When Jacob awakes, he exclaims, "Surely God was in this place, and I didn't know it." Suddenly, this bleak night in a desolate desert has become a miraculous night in a place of holiness. He's in the same place. He is the same person in the same circumstance. And yet everything has changed. Can you relate to this? Like when you suddenly notice beauty around you that you had simply not noticed before. Or when you suddenly have a moment of deep connection and are feeling understood and fully seen. And yet, you may still find a sense of cynicism and doubt still lingers. Even when faced with everyday miracles, we can be resistant to trusting the beauty and goodness in the world. In fact, we may even find ourselves doubting or playing down or making excuses, explaining away the moment of unexpected blessing. Even after receiving God's blessing, Jacob doesn't trust fully. Reacting to his dream, he says, "Surely God was in this place, and I did not know it." Why does he repeat the word "I" twice? Perhaps it is because he is of two minds, even after the immensity of the experience. On the one hand, Jacob recognizes that miracles happen, that God is real, and the world is filled with potential. And yet, on the other hand, he doesn't fully trust in the experience that he's had. He still has his doubts. Like the ladder with one side stuck in the ground and the other reaching to the heavens, Jacob isn't sure which direction is true. As if to emphasize this point, Jacob responds to his encounter with God in a way that demonstrates his lingering distrust. He offers God a bargain, saying, "If God remains with me, if God protects me on this journey that I am making and gives me bread to eat and clothing to wear, and if I return safe to my father's house, then Adonai shall be my God." It's really shocking to read this. God has just promised Jacob the world, and Jacob responds with a conditional agreement. We too tend to take on a defensive posture, often expecting the worst. After all, if we don't get our expectations up, we won't be let down. But the flip side is also true. When we lean into blessing and accept the unexpected goodness when it comes our way, we align ourselves to blessing and ultimately to a sense of trust and faith. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks said, "I believe faith is not certainty, but the courage to live with uncertainty." We want to do good things in this world, and part of that process is to believe that it's possible. In a sense, living with faith is a kind of protest against the despair that breeds in a chaotic world. We have faith in spite of problems. We have faith even though we see with open eyes that tragic things can happen for no reason. We can choose to believe in the possibility of a better future. This doesn't mean that we assume that the best will happen, but rather that we choose to have faith anyway. We choose to believe that change can happen, that there is goodness in the world. To have faith is to lift the veil of cynicism and to allow ourselves to uncover holiness and blessing. Shabbat Shalom.